Hi Aquarius, I hope that you're all doing well. I am using the Light Seers Tarot for this reading. Okay, we're starting off with Ten of Pentacles. And we also have the Moon. Octavia is joining us from behind the scenes. Okay, so with Ten of Pentacles and the Moon, there can be something that you're wanting to feel into and understand the essence of. This can also be something that you want to understand the personal meaning of for you. The way that this is just like coming across to me right now, seeing Ten of Pentacles and seeing the Moon connected with one another, this can be about, so if Ten of Pentacles can be this stuff within 3D that's most important to you, so this can be like a lot of where you focus your 3D energy. It can be like how you want your living situation to be. It can be like what you want your transportation to look like. It can be about like whether you want a family or not, like whether you want kids or not. It can be about like whether you want animals or not, just like all the things that have to do with our individual choices. It can be like what you want your bank account to be looking like, what you want your bank account to not be looking like, where exactly it is that you want to be living. All of this stuff connected with the choices within 3D that are connected with our preferences and that lead to us investing in those things. And it can be different for each of us. Sometimes we have those similarities. Having the Moon there can be you feeling into it and wanting to understand something on the deepest of levels. And there can also be an added element of empathy and also of separation here with this type of energy too. You know, like Moon can have you wondering like what's mine versus what is another person's, like what is my dream, what do I think about, what can even be subconsciously motivating me. That can be something with the Moon too. And like, am I actually working towards the things that I want? Could I possibly be self-sabotaging in any way? These are all themes that can come up with the connection of Pisces, which is what we're seeing here. Like knowing the difference between what you want versus what another person may want and project onto you. Understanding if you've internalized things that may not really be true for you or may not really be in like deeper resonance with you. So these questions can be coming up and you can be wanting to understand too. And maybe there can even be questions about like what it is that you're doing within 3D and if you're, I don't know, it can just be about the meaning. It can be about if you're like working towards those things, and it can be about what you want and what's driving you and what's motivating you. But yeah, there can be like some deeper contemplation that's happening too. Because you know, with this energy of Pisces, we can be wanting to understand the spiritual essence of things. And so it can be like, what does all of this stuff mean to me, you know? And like, why do I want these particular things, or why do I not want these particular things? And like, what am I doing here? That can be a question that comes up too. And like, will I really be happy with these things that I'm working towards? Like, is that really what I want? You know, what is really going to make me happy? It can be these like really deep questions that you're asking yourself with this, you know, like the traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter, and Jupiter is connected with like learning and understanding our own philosophies and kind of that bigger question of what it is that we're doing here, what is the purpose of this, and like what am I really about and after. So yeah, maybe you're just like having a time where there's some reviewing of this, where you're pulled out of like only seeing things from a 3D narrative and you're getting deeper with this and like wanting to understand the levels of this and the different planes of this and how they're impacting one another, and then how that impacts what you're doing within 3D and kind of like what that's aligned with, and if you like what that's aligned with and how you're feeling about that, and is that working for you, is it not working for you, do you maybe want to do something to change it, you know, because Pisces is mutable. So this can be like, do I need to adapt, do I need to change, do I need to understand something? When I have a different understanding, will that then change something that I'm doing? So it can just be like a whole bunch of this that's coming up right now. Okay, so we have Pisces and we have Aquarius. You can be working to integrate right now. This feels like an integration of inner stuff, energetic stuff, your awareness of those things, and then what's going on within 3D, and like the connection between those things. And I see something about being in alignment. Like, I don't know, maybe for some of you guys, you could be like having an epiphany about something. This can be a confirmation, it can be a reassurance, or it can be a time when you pivot to get on track if you feel like you're not. Maybe there's also something esoteric that you're going to be connecting with that is going to help you with this. Because I see something that looks like it needs to be worked out, and I think the question can be like, do I need to change something that I'm doing within 3D, or does my perspective need to change? Which one is it? But something's coming up, and I'm seeing it be connected with the mental space and something that's currently being worked out. And I think maybe even to get to the point where you're feeling more free, where you're feeling unburdened by something that you can be feeling burdened by right now. And it can be something where you're like, I just can't let this go for some reason. I feel like I'm not done working with it. But the point of working with this is that it feels like it's going to liberate you from something that right now you can feel like you're kind of caught up in. Yeah, so this may change as we move forward, but what I can see now is that with the Ten of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, but having that looking at the Five of Swords, what this can mean is that something that you right now can be telling yourself is like an important or like a must-have or something like that you're like actively indulging in, whatever this is. So this seems like something that you already kind of like have your hands on or you're like involved with. This is coming up against something else, and it can be some like deeper spiritual thing that's going on here. Sorry, I just keep feeling wiggling around. There can be something that's coming up here that with the Ten of Pentacles, it's feeling like this can be something that you are placing importance on and that you have been placing importance on. But when you do some digging about this, you may have a realization about it that is going to lead to an important change that's going to be happening, possibly if you're like willing to do that. Because it seems like there's, it's like something, it's like you get put into this spot, like you're walking along the path and you get to this point where there's some riddle that you have to solve, and right now you're at that point where you do have to solve this riddle and you can't really go forward until this is something that you do. Having it be connected with the moon, this can be something like spiritually that you need to connect with, can be something psychologically that you need to connect with. So both of these are connected with Pisces. So feel like I got twisted all around. So yeah, maybe you're just going to go into a space where there's something about like the finding meaning of something, but that there's like something spiritually, like this doesn't feel like I'm going to the next like physical tangible thing and trying to like glean meaning from it. This can be something where you need to go into your brain, or you need to go into your heart, or you need to go into your soul, I think most accurately, and like feel something out, or like find some deeper meaning of something. Like that's actually where you're being led right now. So it can be kind of like to the ends of the earth type of thing too, because this energy of Pisces, it can be connected with like ashrams and with like spiritual ventures that we go on and spiritual discovery. So whether this be like I'm sitting in my living room and I'm meditating, or I'm going away on this trip to really understand this in some way. It feels like something's happening where there's something about like the spiritual planes that you're going into, that you're connecting with. Like the spiritual realm can be connecting in astral as well. And that you're going to be doing something connected with that, and that it's going to have some impact on things that are going on within 3D. But there's something about like needing to work with that energy right now. This can also be like doing some type of therapeutic work, as well as that can be connected with Pisces too. Pisces is connected with the mind, and it's connected with like mental health, spiritual health, and something that I keep seeing images of the moon here, and this like fluidity of things. So now there's something about going in that direction. Pisces is also connected with artistry as well, and artists. So there can be something connected with this too. It's kind of like letting your soul speak in whatever way it wants to, whatever way it chooses to. And yeah, it's like some search for deeper meaning here, ultimately. We have a bunch more cards to pull though, so we will get more context for this. I see this as being just like another venture on, like another path on the overall path that's being explored right now. Like that Ten of Pentacles feels like this like overarching theme. And you have these different ventures that you go on that all are like under the umbrella of this. Like Ten of Pentacles feels like the accumulation of something. Knight of Pentacles is about these ventures that you go on to accumulate this stuff. Having the moon here is about one of these paths now that can be really standing out to you, and you're like, that's where I gotta go. And it also escaped me until this point, but the moon is also connected with unexplored territory as well. So you can be venturing onto some path that you have not explored before, and you don't know what you're going to find, but it can be something that you're feeling drawn to right now. And this will be connected with somewhere that you haven't gone before, something that you haven't done before, somewhere where it's just like an unexplored path for you to be walking down. And there's something about that feels like, I get a lot of things that feel like it's leading you to go in this direction. This can also be stuff connected with healing too. There's so many different things that Pisces is connected with, but all of it will be like something energetically. Maybe there's also a heaviness on your psyche having moon be connected with Ten of Wands. Interesting. Okay, so we have Aquarius, we have Pisces, and we have Aries here. All of this stuff that's happening, it feels like it's forging you into something important. And for those of you guys that you feel like you've been on this like spiritual path for a while, or you've been on this like mental health path for a while. I'm seeing something looking like it's maybe for some of you guys about to happen or close to happening. About to happen or close to happening. And it has to do with a sense of direction. Like these two cards, they're sitting like this with one another in the spread. Octavia. And if you look at the cards, you see how from up there, that's being like grounded. And then you also see it tie into that, which has to do with like the moves that you're making and your sense of purpose. Octavia. Give me 2 minutes, please. So there can be something here about, with this star, this is feeling like some divine inspiration that you can be getting connected with. And then having the Emperor, this is going to be about like what moves you're going to be making based off of that. So it can be like something that you're connecting with right now that's going to inform something that you're going to be doing. Because of having this be connected with the Emperor, this can be something that's difficult. Knight of Pentacles, Ten of Wands, the Emperor, you can feel like, I have to be the one to do this. I kind of have to be doing this on my own. This is going to be up to me. It pushes you into a place where you have to be independent with the choices that you're making. You have to be self-reliant with the choices that you're making. And you have to find a strategy that is going to be right for you. And it also has to do with like your preferences and how you want to be living your life. And are you cultivating the type of life that you want to live, or are you ignoring the messages and the signs, and then you're feeling out of touch and out of place because of that. So this can be something that's going on right now. That Ten of Pentacles and the Emperor is about the life that you are building and about the life that you're living. And you may have some type of problem with this, but what this looks like it's coming down to, having Emperor and having Five of Swords, is that this can be where you could be like waiting for something to happen that you're actually gonna have to initiate. And you're like, it can be something where you're like, I wish that somebody else would do this for me. You can be like bypassing it in some way, but it can be a way that you don't necessarily realize is happening. And it can also be somewhere, I don't know, Five of Swords and the Emperor, you can like maybe be being a little bit lazy with something here, where you're like, yeah, this is a problem, but I'm not taking initiative with it. I'm not really doing anything about it. But then you can feel like something is kind of wrong. And when I say wrong, like something will intuitively be feeling off with your life. And it can also be about the way that you're going about doing things or not going about doing things. Octavia. So it feels like it's all coming down to something having to do with that, but this can be something where it feels like it's putting a lot on your plate. And so maybe there's also this part of you that just gets like really stressed out when this starts coming up. But it can be something where there's like some sort of threshold or some sort of portal that I'm seeing be like coming up and being activated at this point. So there can be this feeling that time is of the essence right now, and that something is coming together, and that something is going to happen. I almost like get this feeling like you're watching something that's taking place, and you're like the person that's gonna like step up and step in and do something about this. I'm just like waiting for them to come, and it's like time is going by and you're still like waiting for the arrival of like the person that's going to do something, and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and then you get to the point where you're like, I think it's actually me. I think I'm the one that has to do this. I think I'm the one that has to make the move. You know, it's feeling like that to me. And also to like getting into the psychology of the Emperor and the Five of Swords can be some like way of thinking where you don't see it's just like all over the place, It can be something where you do not see yourself as the emperor for some reason, and so you don't initiate those moves. So it can be a place where you're not fully stepped into your first house energy, where you're not fully stepped into your Mars energy. And so you can be in this position where you're like looking around being like, who's gonna step up? Come on, we need somebody. And it's like, that's you. It's you. And the whole time you've been looking around thinking that it's going to be somebody else, but it's actually you. You're the one that we've all been waiting on. So it's going to be something like this. And there will be that feeling too where you can like feel that within your life where you're like waiting for somebody to step in, and it's like whole time this is just like you with you here, and you're the one that's meant to step in and do something. But yeah, there can be something about with the Emperor and the Five of Swords. It can be like, I don't see myself as that energy, and so I don't do that. I like wait on another person to be doing that, or I wait for, even if it's not like waiting for another person, it can be like I step back and let the universe take care of that for me, you know, like just bypassing and like not doing what we need to be doing here, or being like, oh, I'll come back around and do it next lifetime. You know, it's something where there will be this like putting off that's been happening, but this part of your energy I'm seeing is starting to get activated, and so this is going to become like more of a headache or more of a problem. And so it feels like it's just going to grow more intense because you're getting into like more and more of what feels like a square within the energy. And so because of that, it means that something is ultimately going to have to be addressed, because I think that the pressure is going to get to be so intense that you're going to feel like it explodes you into having to take action in some way, that you may have for a while been like sitting on this and not doing anything with it because of the like above mentioned reasons. And O is echoing that for us here today. So yeah, I see also for some of you guys too, this can be connected with this aspect of your feminine emotional energy, which I think can come back to like motherly type energy, like moon type energy. This can be coming back to this and some part of your energy that you may have like cast out in some way, or you may not like respect this part of your energy. You may just like have some emotional disconnect where you feel things but you're not really like taking action based off of that, and you're not really honoring it. It can be something like this. Like I see something's going to be happening where it feels like you're going to be going into a time when your inner world is going to be very big in a way that I don't think it was so big before, but it's like that's what the whole movie is going to be about as far as this next chapter that you're going to be stepping into. And so you're going to have to confront this. And it has to do with like a lot of like emotional and spiritual things that have been going on with you, and I think ultimately changes that are going to be happening. But these can be changes that are happening to these areas of your life that can feel like pillar type areas. You know, it can also be areas that are going to be dusted off and changed in ways that they have not been before. And all of this is happening because of like some type of alignment that I'm seeing is taking place. Like this has to do with some like deep calling that I'm seeing is sounding now, that you're connecting with, and that is like leading you in this direction. And it's like there's nowhere else to go except for here. Like it's all been about this. And now is the time when this is really going to start taking place. And I see some like huge beacon. I see something like huge, some like it's like a frequency or something like that. I'm seeing something coming from the sky here that's getting grounded. It's like something about the energy being like siphoned and pulled down to the earth, and that like emitting some sort of frequency that I'm seeing like what you're doing be connected with, and that it means that these big structures are overall going to be changing, and that this even feels like it feels like some like Piscean theme that's gonna be happening, where there's some type of like emotional and spiritual thread. I'm seeing a star here. I'm seeing like a 5-pointed star here. There's some type of emotional or spiritual thread that I'm seeing is getting like opened up. This even feels like some chakra clearing that's happening that may actually be like a heart chakra clearing that ends up happening, where we can like level up because of that. So we're embracing like another plane of things, another dimension even. So it can be something where you realize like this is something that really has to be confronted. It's really something that has to be addressed, and it's not going to go away. It's just going to get more severe until the pressure is enough that this ends up being like taken care of. But all of it is going to be for your highest good, that this is coming into play here. So that can definitely be trusted about the entirety of this. I'm seeing Pisces, I'm seeing Aquarius, and I'm seeing Aries. And all of these energies too are connected with one another. Like in the zodiacal wheel, we have Aquarius, and then after Aquarius comes Pisces, and then after Pisces comes Aries. So there can be something about like that area of your chart. There can be something about like planets and points that are going to be like transiting those areas or like aspecting those areas, something like that. All right, we are going to leave the reading here. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and connecting. I am sending everybody love. Something else that I'm seeing with Five of Swords and Queen of Cups, this can be places that you've been feeling things and you're actually like not okay with certain things, but you haven't been doing anything about it. So this can be like you realizing certain resentments that you're holding on to, anger that you're holding on to, frustration that's coming through strongly that you're holding on to, where there's this part of you that's like, you're gonna hear me now. But I see this being a part of you that like may have been silenced in some way before, that now is coming through and is like, now you have to deal with me. It's like really becoming a force within your life, where before I feel like you may have dismissed this aspect of your energy, may have been taught to dismiss this aspect of your energy. That is, I'd say like if any of the court cards or like any of the queens and the kings are who's the most gentle, I would say that it's Queen of Cups. As far as like the nature in which it like presents itself, because you have to be tuned in order to feel that aspect of the energy. But now it feels like something's happening where this energy is becoming more emboldened, and because of that you can't really sweep it under the rug. So now it's like you're gonna have really big issues if you're not confronting this part of the energy, because I'm seeing something about like the spiritual energy is getting more powerful, like the emotional energy is getting more powerful, the water energy, something about the water energy is getting more powerful. And because of that, it's like before it seems like the mind was able to subdue this, and now something is changing where there's a shift that's happening where that air energy, that intellectual energy, it can't do it anymore. Like the water is coming through. It's kind of like the water sealed something up, or the air sealed something up so the water couldn't come through. But now something is happening where the water is starting to permeate, and so it can't be like held up anymore. You can't like compartmentalize something anymore. It's like all coming in together, and so like quickly something is gonna end up having to be done about this. It's just gonna get more and more and more intense, where it becomes like unable to be ignored any longer. But that it's also like time for this to happen, because I see stuff about like divine timing unfolding now at this point, and that it's like time to reach new depths as well. And that's also like the point of this, and like the point of why we're here. It feels like it has to do with things connected with that. All right, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting and tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.